In one of the most hyped Nitros of the year, coming in front of one of its biggest crowds of the year with over 13,000 at the Phillips Arena from its home base in Atlanta, WCW set up for one of its most loaded shows in months with a pay-per-view caliber card headlined by Bill Goldberg's first match back since December '99 against Tank Abbott, promoted to start at the top of the hour, along with the first match of the highest drawing program in the company with Ric Flair vs Vince Russo in a cage set for later tonight, with Bischoff and Russo after mega hype for something that will change the game coming in 6 days at the Great American Bash pay-per-view, opening the show with Eric introducing himself back to the crowd in Atlanta as the empire that he built when turning WCW around since taking over 7 years ago, while announcing the rest of the loaded card including Steiner vs Vampiro Nash in a new blood gauntlet and Sting vs Jarrett, and after not being able to take out Terry Funk, booking himself against Funk for the hardcore title before Russo took the microphone, running down Atlanta saying that unfortunately he had to leave New York and come here when jumping to WCW in October, with Bischoff turning to Goldberg saying that they never had issues and asking him not to interfere with their plans, before Russo stirred things up saying that unlike Eric he doesn't know Goldberg while calling him out, bringing him to the ring, to a big reaction from the hometown crowd, with Russo and Eric bailing out to close this segment, setting the stage for the night. Russo was on the WCW audio show Thursday night for a lengthy interview on the state of the company since taking over and going forward, saying that the first stage of the plan since April 10th was to stop the bleeding caused by the previous regime and then get Nitro ratings back into the 3 rating range, which they did, with now after increasing Nitro and Thunder viewerships is the time to start throwing out the trump cards, with the most hyped one set for Sunday, talking about him starting to work in the ring with his first ever singles match set for later tonight, saying that he will do whatever it takes to get the product over, including wrestling and taking bumps, while describing Eric's current role as a consultant who's involved in a little bit of everything but not as much as before. Russo compared the current WCW and WWF products, saying that they have the fresher, more creative show and they just have to get viewers to sample the product, similarly to his first few months in WWF creative in late '97 to early '98. Responding to the recent pay-per-view business of the company, saying that the only way to increase it is first to get Nitro into the 3.5 to 4 rating range, saying that the WWF is currently at a peak, riding the wave, but are making a mistake as they're coasting on their success instead of trying to stay ahead of the curve. With big hype all week, including advertising his return on USA Today and throughout the first hour, Goldberg's return was promoted to start at the top of the hour, with Nitro crossing over 9 p.m. with the end of the Steiner vs Vampiro match, followed by a commercial break while Raw was already minutes on the air, as Abbott and Goldberg made their entrances at 9:07 p.m. with Goldberg, after months of hype for the match, taking out Abbott to a big reaction after interferences from Rick Steiner and Nash, ending the segment at 9:13 p.m. followed by another commercial break, with the quarter due to having over 5 minutes of ad breaks and Goldberg only appearing for 6 minutes of the 15, doing a 2.9 rating in one of the highest opening segments in months, as while on the surface the 2.9 wasn't the huge number predicted, Raw's opening segment against it drew a 4.7 rating, with the 2.9 to 4.7 rating gap of 1.8 rating points the closest margin between the shows since December '99. Indicating a massive spike in back-and-forth turnover of viewers during the Goldberg-Abbott match to Nitro and before and after back to Raw, with Triple H opening the show on the USA Network cutting a promo on the 3 #1 contenders coming after his title and his recent problems with Vince McMahon, as the Hunter promo with Vince coming out to confront him at the end, which went full head-to-head with the Goldberg match at 9:07 to 9:13, opened Raw with a 4.7 rating. Not only its lowest opening segment of the year, but the lowest quarter on a Raw broadcast in 6 months, indicating that the Goldberg-Abbott match peaked huge and more than likely led to Nitro outdrawing Raw's segment during the 6-minute period. With Goldberg's return out of the way, WCW continued the loaded card with Sting vs Jeff Jarrett following it in the second quarter, going 3 minutes with Sting going over to win the WCW title, before Bischoff came out to announce that it was a non-title match and Sting taking out Jarrett with a guitar shot post-match. As while that was going on, Raw's opening segment continued and led to a more normal viewing pattern, first with Shane running in to separate Vince and Hunter before the building erupted with Rock coming out to a huge reaction, bumping Raw big with over 1.5 million viewers from a 6-month low 4.7 rating to a first hour high 6, while Nitro dropped to a show low 2.1, saying that he wants his title shot tonight, bringing out Kane and Taker to set up a Rock-Taker-Kane three-way match, with the winner getting the shot in the main event to close the over 25-minute segment. As Goldberg is expected to come back full-time to give the company a star power boost, despite saying in an interview during the week that he's still not 100% ready physically and is mostly running on adrenaline. Another big name on a big contract in Lex Luger went in the opposite direction, with him written off storylines after refusing to go with the planned angle on the Thunder taping last Tuesday, with Russo openly acknowledging Luger being sent home, saying that Luger wanted to just go through the motions and took shots at him every chance he got, telling anyone who doesn't want to be a team player to go somewhere else, saying that he had a similar situation in the WWF when he had some creative issues with Steve Austin, which he felt was only hurting himself, with Luger reportedly not liking his recent angle with the debuting Chuck Palumbo and was against Liz working in the ring. Next on Nitro was a Dallas Page vs Mike Awesome tag match, along with new hardcore champion Eric Bischoff introducing the Hogan vs Horace match, with the NWO music starting with Hogan bringing back Hollywood, while Raw had 2 matches in the quarter, with a Too Cool vs Val Testa and Albert 6-man tag, followed by Chris Benoit vs Road Dogg in a King of the Ring qualifier match. After dropping against the Big Star Power segment earlier on Raw, Nitro gained it back in the last 30 minutes in a direct turnover of around 1 million viewers, jumping to a 2.8 rating against Raw's 5.3 for a loaded quarter featuring Hollywood Hogan's return against Horace going 3 minutes, followed by the second most hyped match of the night with Ric Flair vs Vince Russo in a cage, surpassing expectations in Russo's first ever match to go 10 minutes in the main event quarter, with Flair dominating until David ran in to lead to a big spectacle, with Russo trying to escape climbing to the top of the cage with Ric following, teasing throwing Russo off before Russo took a big bump hanging from the roof back into the ring, ending up with Flair having the match won with a figure 4 before the red liquid fell on Flair, with Russo going over. Raw going against the Hogan-Flair-Russo matches closed out its first hour with a Brisco vs Crash Holly hardcore title match, as at almost the exact same time Hogan came out to his old NWO song on TNT, Brisco and Patterson came out to another old Hogan song with Real American playing on Raw, ending with Brisco and Patterson pinning Crash to retain, followed by the entrances of the three-way match set to cross over 10 p.m. In an unusual timing, WCW took its final commercial break with the show already minutes past the top of the hour, going 12 minutes into the overrun with the Nash vs. New Blood Gauntlet match, ending up with Nash running through them in seconds before Goldberg ran in for the save to bring out Eric Bischoff, saying that he warned him not to interfere in their business and he will now suspend Goldberg on Thunder on Wednesday, with Goldberg responding that he's next if he does, to close the show, building to the hyped surprise coming on the Bash pay-per-view, with Nitro despite the loaded show drawing the 2.9 rating overall in the same line of the previous month, with hopes to come out with big momentum following the major angle planned on Sunday. Raw countered the Nitro overrun with the Big Star Power 3-way #1 contenders match, with Rock vs. Undertaker vs. Kane going 4 minutes to open the second hour, with Hunter on commentary, ending up with him interfering for the finish, attacking Taker, with Rock pinning Kane to advance and set up Rock vs. Hunter for the belt coming in 50 minutes, with the top of the hour quarter with the 3-way followed by a Eddie and Chyna vs. Godfather and Malenko tag match, seeing Raw jump over 1 million viewers to a 6.1 rating. Due to having the big 3-way match at the top of the hour, Raw, which went unopposed from 10:12 p.m., gained practically no viewers from the over 3.5 million watching the Nitro finish for its first full unopposed quarter between 10:15 to 10:30, before rebounding over the next 30 minutes, starting to pick up to a 6.4 rating for a Kurt Angle legend Christian vs. Chris Jericho and Dudley's 6-man tag match going 4 minutes, followed by another tag match of the Hardys vs. Bossman and Buchanan, with both turning on each other just before the Rock vs. Triple H main event. With his mainstream stock rising significantly since the record-breaking performance on SNL in March, followed by impressing in his first movie cameo in The Mummy a few weeks back, Variety ran a story during the week on Rock getting 2 major offers for lead roles in the $5 million range, which will make him the highest-paid actor in history for a debut lead role, with negotiations for the deal being done by a talent agency called Endeavor, with both Rock and Vince McMahon recently signing with the agency to handle contract negotiations and marketing for Rock's upcoming Hollywood career, with Rock commenting on the rumors, saying that it has always been a goal to also transition into acting, and he felt very comfortable during the shooting of The Mummy due to him naturally playing the Rock character on a weekly basis, which is Dwayne Johnson, with the volume turned up to the highest degree. Rock vs. Triple H, which at one point was set to be the WrestleMania main event followed by a series of pay-per-view matches, went 10 minutes in the TV main event for the WWF title, jumping over 1.4 million viewers to peak the night with a 7.6 rating during the 7-minute overrun, with the building ready to explode for the title change following a people's elbow before interferences by the faction Kane and Taker to cost Rock the match, setting up an intrigue for a Rock vs. Taker confrontation heading into SmackDown and next Monday.